I was trying to play and run the board at the same time because I saw that Jen wasn't in her position.
Sorry, I was late. I was doing a thing.
She had to be at a place for some stuff.
We got to start timing
my shirt.
Okay.
If you must know.
We got to start timing what?
We got to start doing the with my drum students. I'll time the internet lag. Like I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'll go 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'll figure out the tempo that fits the lag. We should probably start doing a thing, and you'll have a hip like rhythmic displacement. You'll be off by like 1/8 note.
Right. Last week, I noticed that I was trying to play late, I think, and it actually sounded pretty close.
Nice.
This week, I was just playing a bunch of gibberish.
The banner. David Banner.
Yes, the Dr. David Banner. I'll get rid of that. Welcome to Outside the Inn, everybody. Just so you all know, the feedback from last week's was tremendously, overwhelmingly positive for the fact that we really had no show and it was just us sitting around BSing for an hour and a half. Everybody said that was their favorite show.
What is wrong with you people?
I meant to tell you that before the show, but I'm telling you that now. But yes, overwhelmingly, the messages were like, that was the greatest show ever. I'm like, we had nothing prepared. We had no guests.
That is heartwarming. It is.
Tonight, we have the appearances of nothing prepared and no guests, but there actually are special surprises planned for at 7:30. There's going to be special surprises.
Wow.
I'm just taking a look in here. There's Glenn Hintzman.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn. Hey, Greg. Toms.
Mike Serta. Hey, guy.
Oh, Mike Serta.
Happy belated birthday, Serta.
Yes.
Mick.
So, Serta texted me earlier, and he was sending me a couple of EV monitors, and he said, I'm checking these out. Do you have these? I said, yes, I have either 4 or 6 of them. I'm not sure. He sent me I forget which ones they were, but anyway, I said absolutely they are phenomenal. You should check them out. They were the ones that I used for the solo shows.
Tina Davis, hey, how's it going? One of my very good friends from high school, who's one of those friends who, no matter how long you go, when you see her, when you see that friend, it's just great and easy to fall into.
Yay, Tina.
Serta asks, am I going to sing Message in a Bottle? That'll be Wednesday.
Oh, really?
No, not really. No. But that does lead me into Wednesday, which, darn it all, I meant to grab the link for that. Let me see if I can do that while we're talking.
Dag nabbit.
So Wednesday, so last week we were talking about the clinic that I was going to do on Monday, and some of you were there because I know I just recognize names, and I know some of you were there. For those of you that weren't there, we're working the bugs out of the TLV here, and we actually figured out some stuff and made it even better. And so we have a multicam HD production, and we also have multiple platforms now. We're actually going to go live on YouTube and Facebook Live at 7:00 on Wednesday. When I say we, I mean I'll be the one standing there and playing, but other people involved here will be behind the scenes. So
Director Jen.
Yeah, there's multicams and whatnots, and you need somebody to switch that stuff. But it looks great. I was just watching our friend Larry Mitchell do a similar kind of multicam thing. He was actually doing his from a theater. It was, I think it was some kind of a benefit thing, but I just was watching him right before we came on here, which is why I was almost a few minutes late. But anyway, that Dale,
shut up. I like to poke my screen with sticks.
Well, that goes back to when we were talking about the 70s, and none of us had remote control TVs. So you took like sticks or like radio antennas off your car or things and put little forks on them so that you could turn the remote control from your bed without having to get up, because it was just too hard to go the 5 to 7 feet that you could possibly do that with a stick effectively. Right. So you'd sit there with a stick and pretend you had a remote control. That was like, ghetto remote control. Anyway,
I used to tie a string to my doorknob so I could shut my door without having to get out of bed.
Nice.
When the dogs would come and go,
Yeah.
they'd push the door open, and then I'd have a string tied so I could shut the door and then
Nice.
open it back up.
I did a thing where I screwed a hook into the ceiling and one into the floor, got in trouble over that, and then taped it both to my light switch because I couldn't be bothered to get out of bed to turn on and off the light. And I thought the ingenuity of it would just overshadow the fact that I screwed things into the wood floor at home and the ceiling.
So
basically it was just a big circle of string, and I could lay in bed and pull it up or down, and it would toggle the light on or off.
Right. I see. Wow. Yeah.
Who had a bedside lamp,
Right.
So everybody knows.
When I was a kid, we didn't have bedside lamps.
Bedside lamps.
It was on you to make a Rube Goldberg machine to turn on and off your.
Right.
What?
Rube Gold. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a dorky reference. That's when you
figured that out.
When you see a needlessly elaborate machine on a cartoon that does something very simple, that's a Rube Goldberg device. Actually, I don't know why it gets that name, but yeah, there you go.
Surely somebody here does.
Boyd has my back.
So Wednesday, I'm excited about Wednesday because there's a mass strides in the TL vision here. So I'm going to post right now the YouTube link. We're going to do the usual Facebook Live as well. But if you have friends that don't like the Facebook, or if you guys have a home entertainment system, this seems to be a big thing where if you're using a smart TV or an Apple TV or a Roku, you can put your YouTube on the big TV in your living room and sit there like you're watching a real production in your living room on the home entertainment system. So I'm posting that link right now for the YouTube. There's also obviously an event up on the Facebook here for that. And Jen just posted some new news after 3 months on the website today. So you go to the news on the website. If you can't find it, you can also find it on all our social media and stuff. So, and I'll be posting it again as the week goes on. But Wednesday, 7:00 Pacific, I will be rocking out with multiple camera angles and high fidelity stereo sound. It's going to be fantastic. So we did the clinic on Monday, and it went really, really great, except there was a huge buzz in one ear. So this goes back to the same thing that happened before when we first started trying to do all this remote technology. But now, seriously, I really think we have something. And the way you can tell is that I have all these lit up white umbrellas behind me. That way, I'm serious. It's like,
there's Boyd. Sorry. Boyd, I was just saying, dropping the phrase.
The show can start now. Boyd's here. Okay.
Boyd's here.
Well, I just made a Rube Goldberg device reference as a needlessly elaborate design thing. And I'm like, nobody knows what I'm talking about, but maybe Boyd would. Who knows? Sorry, Travis, back to business.
So this last week, on last Saturday, I was talking about this clinic that I was going to do Monday night. And the whole thing was that every summer when we're on tour, we would do a clinic up at Ted Brown Music up in Washington, it's a music store chain up in Washington, independently owned, really great people. They've got a great music program, and they put on a really successful clinic with us every year. And we obviously couldn't do it this year. So they came to me and said, could we do it remotely? And I thought, with the way we're working on this TLV technology, I thought, yes, absolutely. We can do it remotely. This will be a perfect time to test the next tier of production here with the multicams and stuff. And so the reason, by the way, we don't use any of that for this show is because this is a little dog and pony show that we're using some weird old technology for. But it's the only way I know how to get you guys remotely into this window. But the other show, that's really where it's at. That's where the sound is and everything. Anyway,
on this show, I push my camera around with sticks.
Right. On the other show, we have people to do that. So anyway, all weekend long, we were troubleshooting last weekend. Jen and I literally did a dress rehearsal a week ago Friday, where we ran like a private stream on the platforms for like an hour just to make sure there wasn't any issues. She played with the camera switching system. I rocked out. We tested everything, sound, went back and looked at it. Everything was fantastic. Then Monday night comes and we get ready to go on the air. And the way it works is similar to this show. We'll put up a screen with some sound that allows us a good 5 minutes before the show to make sure everything's working, test the audio, see if there's any weird dropouts, see if anything needs to be adjusted. So we started that, and immediately, and to his credit, the guy that hired me from the music program texted me immediately and said, "There's a horrendous buzz, dude." And I was like, how can there possibly be a horrendous buzz? We've been testing this thing for days, weeks even. How can there be a horrendous buzz? Sure enough, there was a horrendous buzz that came out of nowhere after testing this thing for hours and hours. So what had happened, apparently there was, a ground loop issue that just had not raised its head, but it was between the control room and the studio. And the way we fixed it was to put a ground lift on the computer in the control room, which I'm pretty sure that's safe. You can put a ground lift on a computer, right?
Right.
I think that's good for him, actually.
Right. Barring any hurricanes.
Also, don't bother plugging them into any kind of, power regulator device that would keep from spikes happening, anything like that. You don't need to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's just boring.
So anyway, as soon as we got the clinic done, which, we pulled off somewhat successfully, but there was that annoying buzz in one ear. By the end of it, 20 minutes after that, we had everything perfect. So now we're actually ready to do a successful broadcast.
Travis has this really good habit of jinxing things in such ways, and he's always done that on.
Is that Mr. T telling Jen to shut up?
Anyways,
sorry. Yeah,
you're
right.
wrong.
I know. Trav will experience all the unfairness of the universe and multiple levels, and then go, but now it's going to be perfect. He never loses the optimism. It's always like, it's going to be, we're so dialed, we're so ready. And then you're right.
And then boom.
It's going to be fantastic.
There's a horrendous buzz.
Yeah.
So, Boyd sent me a question earlier for tonight's show. And it seems like a reasonable question. I haven't read it, but it looks big. It says, question for tonight. What solo album / song is your favorite from members of your favorite band, i.e., Victor, Strip, and Get Naked? I don't.
Is that an autocorrect?
I don't know what that means, but
is that the Lifeson album? Was that?
I could be.
Maybe that's called that. No,
it wasn't Victor.
Oh no, the album was called Victor.
Right.
So here's the thing. I assume he's talking about members of a band doing a solo project outside that band, right?
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Sting and the Blue Turtles, that kind of thing. So what's your favorite album of a person in your favorite band outside of that band?
Oh, album or another band?
No. Favorite album and or song.
Oh.
Was that reference to a member of Rush, though, since he knows that would be among our... Because Strip and Get...
he could be talking about the Victor album. Maybe Strip and Get Naked is a song on that album. I don't remember.
That is the deal. That's why I'm saying it.
Okay.
I think.
So the name of the album and or song from an artist in one of your favorite bands outside of that.
Whew.
Oh, actually, Sam says my favorite my favorite Headache. That's Getty, though.
Yeah, that's a great record.
So does anyone have an answer? I'm working on mine still.
Yeah,
I will have an answer.
Percolate for a while.
I was going to say this is more of a band, but I really, really, really love the Jelly Jam, which is Rod Morgenstein and Ty Tabor and that dude from Dream Theater. And they make really, really awesome records, and I love all of the songs. So that band comprised of Rod and Ty from King's X, and then I can't think of the bass player's name right now.
My
Young. Sorry,
yeah, John Mayoung.
Young. Anyways, that whole band is like a really, really awesome. They make really great music. So
that's a good call, and I love that music more than I thought I would have by the title. Jelly Jam just didn't appeal to me, and I was like, it's going to be a bunch of loosey goosey. And then I heard it, and I was like, wow, this is badass.
Yeah, it's pretty badass music.
You thought it was going to be like a Dirty Bare Feet band? You like when it like like a some kind of like a Fish with the Dead kind of thing.
Yeah, like some Cartman from South Park would hate.
Right. Jen or Dale, either one of you.
Josh.
Jen already answered, right? So,
Yeah.
so Dale. I forgot who brought that up, but it was Jen.
Well, you brought the whole thing up.
Well, no, about the Jelly Jam. That
yes,
was Jen.
right. Gosh.
Mine's
I'm
so
still
easy.
thinking. The only, I have a feeling this is not going to be my ultimate answer, but well, no, it doesn't fit. It's not a member of a favorite band. Sorry. No, you go, Trav.
Well, there's several in line, but I'm going to say the most obvious answer would be High Tension Wires, Steve Morris.
Yeah, but does that really count?
Yeah. Founder of the Dixie Dregs, not in the Dixie Dregs. It's his first solo record.
Steve Morris' band, basically. Well, I guess it's his solo record, quote unquote. So.
Well, even if it was Steve Morris' band, that's still solo records outside of the Dregs. If you want to say the Dregs is the kind of the main act, so to speak, but that would be so. Even with what you're saying, I'd stick with probably High Tension Wires. I mean, I love all those albums, and some of them I love for different reasons more than others, but is one that just like stands the test of time and is a great album to listen to. It's not something I listen to for guitar chops or get hyped up for a show. I just listen to it because it's a beautiful album. And I haven't listened to it probably in a couple of years, quite honestly, because I listened to it so much. But like if you put it on, it puts you in a place, and that would be High Tension Wires. Mm-hmm. So I think that's like one of the greatest guitar records of all time, honestly. Mm-hmm. So
I guess I will say I'm sort of trying to make sure I have the right album here.
Mike Serta brings up a good point about a Phil Collins record outside of Genesis.
That's where I'm going.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm thinking of, is it Face Value? What has Mama and In the Air Tonight?
Genesis.
Oh, it is. Okay. Right. That
In the Air Tonight.
Yeah.
In the Air Tonight is a Phil Collins song.
I was going to say Face Value, but I don't know. I was trying to, for some reason, Simon Phillips albums come to my mind, but I can't really
Protocol.
say. Protocol was, I'm trying to figure out how to say that's one of my favorite bands. He was in the Jeff Beck, he was in that band. So I'm going to go ahead and say Protocol, Simon Phillips solo album from being in Jeff Beck's band, and that's one of my favorite things.
I'm going to tell, as long as Serta is hanging out here, I'm going to tell you should hang out for a while, because in about 10 minutes, we're going to have a special guest that you're going to want to be here for. I'm just putting that out there. You don't want to be part of this, I'm telling you. It's not necessarily somebody famous like we always have been doing. It's just part of the TLB family.
My dad is coming. Okay.
My gosh.
I let it out of the bag. My dad will
What
be
was
here.
you doing?
What is this? I see Nicholas on these comments saying shout out to TLV. I like that he referenced TLV for turning me on to the new John Petrucci with Dave LaRue. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that got posted yesterday, I think.
Okay, I'm looking at it in the comments okay.
No, the song, the video for Terminal Velocity, the song got posted yesterday. Yeah.
I'm with you.
I just sent that to Jen last night. We were checking it out. They squeezed Dave in there just a couple of times.
Yeah.
But he's
Jeff
probably
said they got Dave in there a few times, and I was counting, and I think it really was a few, like 3.
It's like 3, yeah. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, John.
I know.
I'm just saying. Here, let me check this stuff just to see if there's anything. Is there anything from last week that we didn't?
Eric Davis wants to know, what is your favorite breakfast cereal?
I was talking the other day about, I go down to the grocery outlet, which is like a discount grocery store. Okay. And sometimes they have things there that you would never buy. And it's because, they just show up there and you try them once, you go, holy crap, this is magnificent. So I got this Raisin Bran, but it's not Kellogg's Raisin Bran. It's Mother's something. Do you know the brand, Jen?
Mom's Best. Mom's Best something.
Mom's best raisin bran.
Mom's
Anyway,
best cereal.
I told Jennifer I got this, and she goes, "Oh, that's really good stuff. That stuff is like $6 a box." And I was like, "Really?" Because I got this at grocery discount. She goes, "Go back and buy every box you can if you like it, because then it'll be gone." Because grocery discount is like where they put all the stuff that's overstocked or whatever, or out of date. But anyway,
it's actually Grocery Outlet, and it's called Gross Out for short.
Yeah, that's a good shortening of Grocery Outlet. Yes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about it. I got this stuff. Like after the show tonight, I'll do this. I go in there, I pour myself every night. First of all, I had a huge dinner. I made myself a delicious homemade pizza tonight. That's why I was almost late also. I was watching Larry and texting with Larry about his show, and I was eating a gigantic, delicious homemade pizza that I made. But it really was. I did it right tonight. Yeah, I drizzled some olive oil on it, and then I put extra cheese.
Nice.
Anyway, but I had this delicious pizza. But what'll happen is after the show tonight, I'll go and I'll pour myself a gigantic bowl of this raisin bran, and I'll use one of the bananas that's not going to be good much longer. I'll put that on top because you got to eat it tonight because it won't be good for breakfast. Anyway, that's what I tell myself. That's what you have to understand. Now this banana won't be good any tomorrow. I got to put this on the cereal. Anyway, this raisin bran, I opened up the first box I got of it, and there was this huge clump of raisins, like the size of a baseball, in the middle of it.
Yeah,
like almost more raisins than raisin bran. Bran. So I closed it back up and I shook the hell out of it, and then it was just like almost an equal 50-50 dispersion of raisins and bran, and it was magnificent. So. And the bran is like real thick. It's almost like, I told Jen, it's like bran chips. It's not, so it never gets soggy, but it's, so anyway, that's my dessert. So right now that's my favorite cereal.
This is not trying to diss that, but I'm not as much of a fan of Raisin Bran. When you said that big chunk of raisins, you said I closed it back up, and I was thinking and then I shot it several times and lit it on fire. Ran over it with a truck.
Right.
Anyway, sorry.
Serta says you should ask Jen how to make a pizza. That's because going back in the day, as the kids say. That's what they say, right? Back in the day.
They're no longer kids, but they did say that.
They did back in the day. Jennifer and Michael Serta, Michael Serta and I grew up together. He's one of my best friends. And Jennifer and Michael Serta used to work at the Round Table Pizza. That's just like a half mile from where I'm sitting right now, just down the hill. You could literally get on a bike and just roll down to the pizza place, which, by the way, it's not a Round Table Pizza anymore. They just changed the name to something else. It's like some independently owned thing, but it still looks like Round Table.
Just Pizza.
It's just called Just Pizza.
Wow.
Yes. Serta and I worked together at Round Table, one of my first jobs. Pepperoni number 8, right?
Yep.
Let's see, I think olives were they numbered all of the toppings. So when you took an order, you wrote 2, 8, 11, whatever it was, and then you had to figure it out and weigh everything. And anyway, Serta and I always joke about you get a number 8 and get some number 2 on there, and
So Serta's first comment in this feed tonight was, "Are you going to sing Message in a Bottle?" To me, he asked that, and the reason he asked that is because when Jennifer was working at Round Table with Serta, Jen and I were playing in our band, and then Serta was also playing in a band in town. We both had trios, and Serta could sing, and I couldn't sing. And so I would try and sing because you couldn't get gigs playing bad cover versions of Jeff Beck or Joe Satriani songs and instrumental originals that were not really honed at that point that nobody wanted to hear. So we would do pretty much the same covers that those guys would do, but I would sing them. Right. And so we were playing like Message in a Bottle and like some Cheap Trick and back then I'll still sing Little Wing because you can kind of almost talk your way through Little Wing a little bit because Hendrix was more of a soulful singer, but we both did Little Wing. So anyway, the first gig that Serta came out and saw us playing, he heard me towards the end of the night trying to sing Message in a Bottle. My voice is completely gone. I couldn't hit the highs anyway. And it's basically sounded like this hoarse guy, he always does the impression, message in a bottle, message in a bottle. And that's me singing
harsh.
Message in a Bottle. So
Nice.
Although I maintain that if the monitors are good and I haven't sung anything all night, I could probably do it reasonably well, but only once.
What's that Cheap Trick song we used to do?
We did Mama's All Right, Daddy's All Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Surrender.
I heard that on the radio the other day, and I remember I used to sing the backup parts, so I was like, singing along.
And that was the one that was always in the set for everybody because it was so easy. You could just write on one note essentially and play it. But then the other one we did, I Want You to Want Me for a little while, but probably not great. It probably sounded a little like that. Probably the timing was about like that. And then we played all kinds of stuff. We played some Billy Joel. We played, of course, some Stones, and I've been thinking about, like, when I've been doing these solo shows, not the post-COVID solo shows on the broadcast, but when I was playing the local club in Morro Bay and doing solo shows up until the end of last year, we always get some friends up and jam at the end of the night. And I was starting to think about maybe doing some Stones for that. Like, I was thinking maybe you can't always get what you want, but like the bluesy version that way.
Yeah.
Because everything, if I ever have to sing, it's just an avenue to cut heads for 20 minutes. So it's like sing a verse and then the two guitar players can go at it. You know? So that's really all it is. It's to fool the local non-fans who don't know what they're in for that night into thinking, oh, they're playing a song I like.
They were playing the Stones for 45 minutes. It was rad.
Right.
It was one song.
So yeah, exactly. Little Wing, same thing, right? It's like, oh, you're such a great singer. It's like, yeah, I sang one verse and then I played guitar for 20 minutes.
So Jen, what's your favorite breakfast cereal? This is a dumb question for Jen and I.
No, sadly, I don't eat breakfast cereals anymore. I love
but barring restrictions, what's your old favorite?
My old favorite. I saw this, I think, pop up on Facebook the other day, and it had pictures of, Fruit Loops, Cap'n Crunch, Cocoa Pebbles, just all the good stuff. And I was literally thinking, what was my favorite? I really, really liked the flavor of Cap'n Crunch, but it used to tear up the roof of your mouth really bad. Do you remember that?
Totally.
And then Fruit Loops, I liked all of that stuff, but I never got that stuff. My mom would not buy. We had Cheerios. That was like it. It was always the hell or Wheaties or whatever. But Cap'n Crunch is a good one. And Fruit Loops for sure. Yeah. I never, and Lucky Charms. And everyone used to pick out the marshmallows and don't eat that other crap in there. So I like that one too. How about you, Dale?
Oh, well, what you were going to say something, Trav?
Go ahead. If you got an answer.
I this is just another example of how boring I am. Like from grade 4 or 5, whenever it is that you start making your own breakfast, I was just oatmeal guy till like age 25. I would say 10 to 25 ate oatmeal every day. And then one day I just stopped. I was like, all right, that's enough. I'm done. But also I was just I don't eat breakfast anymore. So I didn't graduate into any other kind
That's what I was going to say was you and I have this in common. As soon as you didn't have to get up for school, you stopped eating breakfast.
Yeah, right. I wake up at like 10:30, 11, and then I don't start feeling like I have to start eating for a few hours. So it's really my first meal of the day is lunch. But along the lines of those honeycomb that would tear up at the roof of your mouth, when I worked at a health food, Cap'n Crunch. That is the great sugary cereal there. And by the way, okay, I was looking at that Austin City Limits with Eric Johnson a while ago, and I had never noticed this. Well, I never made the connection. You know that funny shirt he has that's kind of just real, I don't know.
The band shirt. Just a high school band shirt.
Yeah. And somebody said, "I love the Captain Crunch shirt."
Nice.
It's like, oh my gosh, that's good. But there was at the health food store, there was like a brand called Nature's Path or something. They had super thick cornflakes and they would destroy your mouth, but they were so good. Anyway, I don't. That's all I got. Oatmeal.
Okay.
Yes.
Travis
first of
getting
all,
all anxious. I'm sure that our special guest is fine.
Yeah, he doesn't mind waiting for my story of oatmeal.
Yeah. He's
first of
probably
all,
heard it before, but
Gerda says, I bet she likes some Cookie Crisp. First of all, I never had any of those kind of cereals.
either.
I wasn't, my mom wouldn't buy them either. And I think as close I got to say anything bad was Fruit Loops.
I just saw a comment from Stephanie referencing grape nuts. That is the cold cereal I would eat.
Okay,
and
okay.
I didn't drink dairy by the time I was in high school, but I would pour. I don't know why I had beer to pour on grape nuts, but I would eat grape nuts with beer poured on it because I didn't eat dairy. But it's malted barley either way. It's all just one liquid solid. But grape nuts I loved.
That sounds gross.
You put beer on your grape nuts.
And then I went to school. I don't know why there was some there. I wasn't buying it, but
by the way, this sounds like a euphemism to something.
No, this is not coded. This is not coded drug talk. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
The guy that I spent all my whole summer having cereal with every morning
wow.
is here with us tonight. This is literally the fourth member of TLB for the last 25 years. I don't know. Well, we'll go through the whole history, but Jen and I first worked with this guy in 1991, I believe. Right? 92, something like that.
First time we met him was at the Romantics show. So that was with JR.
No,
right?
That was with Craig.
Oh, that was with Craig. So yeah, 92, something like that.
92, maybe.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah. Anyway,
at Loco Rancho.
Fourth member of the band, our engineer for the last 20 something years, 25 officially, I'm going to say. And we love him. We beat him up. He's our favorite human. This is Kip Stork.
Yay!
All right.
Oh.
All right, couple things. Dale. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Crunch, those are great, but I like the frosted mini wheats. And I don't know what to say to you, Travis. But yeah, no one wants to be a pile of raisins inside of a box of bran.
Right? You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but the point is that there were enough raisins. You know how you're just looking for the raisins. This thing was just it's 50-50 raisins.
Yeah. With all
I could run out of the studio and go get the box. Yes, this is what I'm saying.
Yes, that's right.
Fantastic.
That's right. Yeah, if you shake it up really good, all the sugar settles to the bottom. And so the last little bit, when you pour it out of the box, is the best. Just because it's got all the sugary raisins and everything is great.
Exactly. Hey, Mike Serta wants to know how your mid-range is doing.
What's that? Can you repeat that, please? I'm not sure I heard that.
Quit your jibber jabber. Dumbass.
There you go.
Welcome to
there's more than one of those things
in the studio with TLB and Kip,
or anywhere with TLB and Kip.
I don't want to jump in because you guys are doing so great on your own. It's like, yeah, man.
Oh, we need you, buddy.
I'd be like, screech, brakes, the whole thing. It's terrible.
Party starts with you.
So Kip, Jen mentioned Kip and Jen and I met when he was mixing at a club called Loco Ranchero, which used to overlook San Luis Obispo up on the top of a hill, which is now the NBC studios up there where the local news is done. But back in the day, he was working up at this club, and it was basically the closest thing we had to like a big LA club here in our small town. Right?
700 capacity, right?
And some of the people that played there, I mean, Bonnie Raitt was there back in the day.
That was a different club then. Yeah, that was
a different name.
I forget the name. Different name, but yeah, and I wasn't there, and it shut down for a couple of years between clubs.
Yeah, and then
so
when
she
you
was
were
up there when Wally Barnick was doing the booking on that. I forget what the name of it was though.
Gotcha. But this place was halfway between LA and San Francisco. It was the only real stop at the time. So you would get big name acts like that. And Jen and I were scheduled with our little dog and pony show, and it really was a dog and pony show at this point, to open for the Romantics, which was the show that Kip was mixing. And we'd never met him before. And back then he looked like Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller. He's how tall are you?
Not so
Kip?
much anymore.
No.
He had to write this mullet.
I remember you guys. I remember it was Craig. It was Craig Hill.
Craig, yeah.
Right. JR came on later.
Yeah. And that was that your fault? No, that was kind of actually Mark Serta's fault that JR came on, because JR was Mike Serta's drummer at the time. But anyway, going back to the original gig though, we got booked to open this show, and it was one of those shows where they throw way too many bands on. So the opener goes on at like 7, that would be us, and the Romantics go on at like midnight, right? Yeah. And then there's like just bands playing all night long. They start out horrific and they get slightly better each time until the headliner comes on and plays the songs everyone paid to hear. Right. So we were the first band on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I remember Jen shows up with a little combo amp. We just finished checking all the other bands, right? And all the back line was pushed against the back glass. And then Jen comes in with I think it was a single 15, a combo.
Yep.
Like
the
maybe
Fender
100 watts
gig,
or
my very first amp.
It was the Carvin though at that gig.
Oh, was it?
I think it was
you never took the sidekick to a gig, I promise.
Yeah. I remember Kip putting it on a chair though.
But
yeah, you're right. I did have the Carvin still was combo. You're right.
And you know what else I remember? I remember saying, "So, is this your bass rig?" Just like that kind of. Okay, great. Yeah, maybe I'll get a chair for that.
Yeah, that's what you did.
But we knew nothing. We knew less than nothing. If we even knew that we knew nothing, that would have been something.
I'm still trying to learn something.
Nice.
So we didn't know about monitors or anything. And Jen had her little Carvin combo. That was the first gig that Carvin combo did, by the way, the first real gig.
Wow.
And then I don't even remember what these things were called, but they were basically, if you remember the Sears catalog back in the day, some people remember this. They had little mini stacks, and it was a little single 1/8 inch or 6-inch, I can't remember, speaker in it looked like a little 412 cab, but it was like a little single 6-inch.
Oh, no way.
And then another one, like a little stack.
Is that right?
And that was my rig. and I brought that to that gig. And I got that from Sears. And
now some of that Sears stuff can be worse stuff. Can be like the old tube amps. They used to sell some old stuff.
My dad Sears finally took it to the dump. I said, just take it to the dump. But so anyway, and I also had a rack that I had literally cut a rack out of a milk crate from the back of Vaughn's.
That was a hot move back then. That was
very
measured
handy.
Perfectly. Yes.
Yeah. Throw it around.
You couldn't afford a rack, so I got a red one from Vaughn's. I cut the bottom out, and then I spray painted it black, and then I took like angle iron and bolts and bolted stuff into it. Right.
Now, how did you get the milk crate? Was it out by the dumpster, or did you buy it?
Yeah,
I just
steal it or what?
From behind the store.
Because when you said you couldn't afford a rack, you couldn't afford a milk crate. They didn't have them for $5 at Walmart. It was something you had to steal. It wasn't just available back then.
There was no Walmart. We didn't have a Walmart here until
someone else said steal.
I don't even know.
Wow.
Travis stole. That's what we're getting at here.
I stole an old milk crate.
It was for the art.
Stolen old milk crates. Yeah, you can go to jail for that.
It's a weird form of integrity.
So Stephanie says $1,500 fine.
Milk crate theft.
Wow.
That's like today, though. This was back in the day.
The tag off a mattress, right?
Yeah, there was no cameras. Nobody was going to catch you.
This is back in the day where I think they almost encouraged milk crate theft. They wanted to get rid of them.
I still have one of those milk crates, the orange ones that you painted black, but this one doesn't have the bottom cut out. I think you used it to haul around the cables for said rack.
Right. What are you doing with it now?
It's actually
yeah. What are you doing with it?
Well, go get it. Let's take a look.
Sitting there in the corner.
So I will say,
I want to see all the stuff.
So as long as we're going over origins, the first time I heard Travis Larson Band solo, like original music, was when I think Kip, you came to where I lived to borrow the Rocksteady Posse keyboard player's DAT recorder.
Oh,
yeah.
So you were doing a demo. Travis Larson Band was doing a demo,
at Cucaracha Court.
Yeah, and the first
Cucaracha Court.
And the first recording device anybody knew of belonged to Hodge, my keyboard player. And so you were going, and then you somehow, I happened to be there when you picked it up and you showed me the music, and I remember saying to you, like, that's actually the kind of music that I would play given.
Rather be playing. Yeah.
And you're like, huh? I was like, I didn't know anybody was playing anything like that. Are they're local? So, and then you were, that was a demo.
Well, you were living in the warehouse at that point, right?
Was it the warehouse?
You were living in?
The mud hole. It could have been.
Oh man, it could have been the mud hole because Tommy would have had something like that to play back with.
For the listening audience, I used to be out of town so much touring with a regional hip hop band that I just paid like $100 a month to crash on the floor of a drum room of a recording studio, and I had a sleeping bag, and when I was home, I would sleep there, and when I wasn't, there was no footprint. Once or twice, I remember waking up, and there was a metal band playing, and I was sleeping until noon or something. But I can't be woken up when I'm sleeping. So I woke up gradually, faded back to sleep, woke up, and there was a guy doing death metal songs in that room, and he turned around and went, "Oh my God, I didn't know anybody was in here.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I was like, "No, you're fine. Sorry, I shouldn't have been in here. If there's a session, I shouldn't have been sleeping."
So maybe Tommy was doing a session, and he forgot you were there.
He woke me up or kicked me out, and I was just in the corner.
I just got a guitar rig into that bedroom over there. It'll be fine. We'll put some headphones into you.
I slept for like 2 hours during the session.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like that episode of WKRP when Johnny Fever always just wakes up in the storeroom. People will go back there to talk about secret stuff, and then he'll wake up and get up behind all the stuff. That's Dale back in the day.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the way Kip is the weird connective tissue between early TLB and.
Yep. That's right, huh? And then let's see. Yeah, there was JR after Craig.
Yeah, so because of Mark Serta and was in a college band with all these guys that graduated Cal Poly, and they all went on their separate ways right about the time we were trying to acquire a serious drummer. And then we had a guy in between whose name was Lance, who was like a local, he wasn't a guy that he was his dad, I think, was a musician, and he played drums on the weekends, but he worked full time. And then we had JR after that, and JR was a member of this pop band called The Names, which was Michael Serta's band, and they basically broke up because everybody got out of school and went to live their lives and moved into different towns. And JR was here, and he joined up with us for a couple of years, I think. And so we did our
Cucaracha Court guy, right?
He's a Cucaracha Court guy, and we did the first serious demos with Cavalli, and that was where Cavalli knew Kip knew Hodge, and Hodge is the guy that had the one digital recording device in 1991 or 2 or whatever it was,
and not a rack space. It was just like a little mobile device.
Yeah, it was like a little, not much bigger than this iPhone. It was just one of those little like mini cassette DAT machines. It was like a Walkman size.
Tascam, or wasn't it a Tascam?
Okay, I think so.
Yeah. So we ran a console in a bedroom, right? And then a snake in the living room, and then through the and then we took the doorknob out of the garage door, the man door that goes into the garage, and then ran the snake through that, right?
2-track recording.
After that, I forget. That's crazy though. Yeah, it's kind of stupid good.
And that's the so the songs. Some of the songs that were on the first record were songs from that session, not those versions, but we played Counterparts, Nameless. I can't remember if there were any
No Strings
other
Attached.
No Strings Attached. Yeah, but that might Window Falls. I can't remember. Did JR play on that? He might have, like a version of that.
The version, yeah.
That was more of an electrified version.
There was actually another recording I did of you guys live upstairs at Slow Brew, the old Slow Brew. And you said, hey, just record us. Remember that? Right? That was before the Cucaracha Court, I think. And you came back to me and you said, oh, I think you just recorded our first demo.
It could have been before. Like I can't remember if it was before or after, but we did a show.
Yeah.
And here's the show.
Was that Dick Dale?
No, here's the thing about it. No, the reason we did that recording is because whoever was going to play that night backed out, and we had the night. And Pat gave us the night, and we didn't have even enough material to do.
Was that with me? Or are you talking about?
Oh,
I remember
before Dale, I think.
I remember that happening with me.
You know, you're right, Dale. That was you. So before you, it was
got it.
JR. With JR, we were opening for somebody. You're right.
Okay. Is that the Sheffield Labs situation?
No, that was the last gig with JR.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't remember who we were opening for, but it was probably the Din Pedals.
Yeah, that's right, huh? Could have been.
The Din Pedals, for those of you that weren't in San Luis Obispo in 1991,
everybody but us four.
Which is everybody.
There was this guy Pat that managed the Slow Brew back then. He's the guy that booked us for those gigs.
Pat Johnson.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to do Pat Johnson, who used to like smoke cigarettes and talk really, really fast all the time, and he was running the show, and he would say, "It's like U2 meets The Cure, right? It's like U2 meets The Cure. That's what the Din Pedals are, right?
Yeah,
so that's
Genesis
what Pat
fan.
was like. Yeah,
big Genesis fan.
Hence the Travis Larson Band, right?
Was Peter Gabriel in a band before he did Sledgehammer?
Yeah, he was in Genesis. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And so that's I was going to say a solo, because it's amazing what I don't know.
Sure.
But I was going to say that as a solo album was a great album. Plus, what is that? She's the Boss with Mick Jagger is fucking pretty good. Excuse me. Well, it's pretty good.
You're on
Travis and Kip love to listen. Okay, Travis and Kip loves to listen to the Mick Jagger solo album, and
hilarious.
It's unintentional comedy.
86.
Oh my god!
Well, it's the. I'm not going to be able to get it up tonight for this.
No, don't do it, Travis. Don't do it.
But what we do is, like, when we're on the road, occasionally, we'll put in the Mick Jagger solo record. It's not Primitive Cool, is it? It's the other one. Anyway, it's the one that has "She's a hard woman to please," and I thought about letting her go. And then there's a bit where French? he goes, "How can I say goodbye to my baby?" And you guys have to go find this song, Hard Woman by Mick Jagger. You know, about, I think it's exactly 60 seconds or 2 minutes into it. I can't remember. It's like right on the mark.
You got to be kidding me.
I find it because for you. So when we get in the car, I know.
Thank you.
But he goes,
it's
"How can I say goodbye?"
There's always one more than you think there should be, right?
Right.
You go, no, he couldn't do one more, and he does one more.
Yeah. It's Mick Jagger singing soulful, but it's just like, it just goes so far.
Right. And you think this is around 2 minutes?
I think it's 2 minutes or 1 minute.
Are you going to be able to bust this out, Dale?
We'll see.
He's working on it.
No, are you working on it?
Hey, really quick, Kip, Rodney Cord says hi, in case you're not looking at comments.
Mr. Cord and Julie, how are you doing? Yes. I'm not looking at comments.
Okay,
I'm just talking to you guys right now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh my God, Brian.
Brian Munzel.
Brian. Hey, Brian.
Glenn says, "I'm not sure I can grasp TLB with a different lineup than the current one." I will say to Glenn, just so you feel okay about it, I'm the only guy who's been on the all original releases by TLB.
That's right.
These other drummers were doing random covers, which I would have enjoyed probably. But
and so here's the thing:
we were talking about Dale
this will lead
the band.
This will lead into the next topic here, but we started to talk about JR, who was our first decent, like a drummer that kind of helped us raise the level a little bit to the point where we started thinking, okay, we could probably do this.
His feet were pretty good.
His feet were pretty good.
Decent feet. Yep.
So here's the thing. The very last gig we played with him, the one you were talking about, Jen, at Slow Brew Company, it was a showcase for a record company that wanted to sign us potentially, and it was also JR's last gig because he was leaving to go because he'd finished college, right?
Another rocket scientist coming out of me.
Yeah, he's a rocket scientist now or something like that. But he was like, okay, let's we'll do this gig because it's important because you guys have this chance to showcase for this record company. So we're showcasing for this record company with a drummer that's leaving at the end of the gig.
And I remember shortly thereafter, that's when we were talking with Kip, and he was like, "I know the guy for you. I know the guy for you." Remember?
Yep,
that's right.
And we went.
And then
my memory of seeing Dale for the very first time, he was playing with a local band called Jill Knight, and he was wearing at a different club, and he was wearing a pink shirt.
I was.
Yes.
I was like, I had a pink shirt.
A pink shirt.
Yeah, like a salmon collared shirt because it was a Jill Knight gig.
Pink.
This was at Mother's, which was a really upscale club at the time.
Yeah,
this was
all I can think of is I had a white T-shirt that was stained from Red Laundry or something. I'm like,
no, it was a proper pink shirt.
No, I totally would have done that. I'm just, yeah.
That was,
I just don't remember.
Was a good band too.
So you guys like,
right?
yeah, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
I just remember that. That's all. Like,
we went and saw Dale, and we also went and saw another drummer with the same exact band, both at Mother's within a week of each other, and they were both
Gino.
No, they were both filling in.
Rex?
No, not Rex. We talked to Rex too.
Rex.
But no.
Matt?
Matt. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Matt ended up being the drummer for a whole bunch of really, really big local bands, and then played with Peter Will, the late great Peter Will.
Yeah. We got to have conversations about him sometime.
Yeah. Peter Will, for those who missed him, he passed away years ago, but he was like an up and coming Johnny Cash on steroids kind of guy.
He was,
he was amazing. Not same kind of music by any means that we do, but we loved the guy. He was amazing. So Matt, Jen and I went and saw Matt. And Jen and I went and saw Matt, and then we went and saw Dale. And then Dale was at a house party that Kip had, a housewarming party when he moved out by the airport.
Yeah, that's right. I threw that party so that I could introduce Dale to the TLD.
Yeah, it was like a blind date. You remember that?
Yeah, it was, right. And I had Ron there. Ron Dobson and Nancy and
I can't.
Dylan
Trying to think back, I was probably even nerdier back then than I am now, if that's possible. Like that must have been.
Yeah, that's possible. I think.
Yeah,
I think you probably were.
Well, here's the thing about Dale, and he won't mind me saying any of this. So Dale back then, number one, he couldn't play the drums.
Yeah, I was taking a hiatus. Go ahead.
Yeah, number two, he didn't have a car.
True.
Nope.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm literally having to drive.
I had to get Dale. I had to pick up Dale, get him to my place, introduce him to you guys, and then Dale, didn't I drive you back to San Luis for a show? Like later on that evening?
I can't imagine I had a show without a car.
No, you were playing it, but you were playing one-handed gigs with Rocksteady Posse.
Oh, right. So, okay, yeah. So I played 20 to 25 nights a month for about 4 years with this band, and it was a lot of these kinds of grooves where it was just and you just grind your right hand down, and after about 3 or 4 years of that, I had a rotator cuff problem on the right hand, so I learned the whole gig left-handed, and then I just finally tapped out and said I can't do this, but nobody else could do it, and I had learned to do it with my left hand. So then, yeah, there must have been a point where we had found the person to do most of those shows, and I was phasing out. But this must have been one that I was doing a thing where I would play one-handed, left-handed on these shows. I would tuck my right hand up behind my back so I wasn't tempted to use it, because if I did, my shoulder would slip out of the socket, and it wouldn't work out. And that's the Dale that Travis and Jen met. I was like, yeah, I love this. We're all on the same wavelength. I have no right arm.
Right.
And no car.
Yeah, no car. Yes.
No car. Yeah.
Larry Dickey says Dale is the Larry Dickey says Dale is the Neil Peart of TLB. That's absolutely true. Very similar story. It's true. It's absolutely true. So here's the thing.
Thank you, Larry.
So we start practicing with Dale, and meanwhile, before any of this happened, Kip and I would talk on the phone. You know, like I'd call him at night, and sometimes we'd just talk. You know. and
I'm still at Loco.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
This is probably Slow Brew.
Yeah. So 95.
Which era of Kip was
90,
this?
94, 95.
Yeah. Which era? Which place?
Yeah, and we would just talk. We get to be really good friends after the Cavalli sessions at Cucaracha, and so I would call him and just talk about like possibilities. And Jen and I were trying to figure out ways to be serious about this, and And he was talking about building a studio. He's like, well, I think I'm going to build a studio. And I was going back and forth between like Jen and I would rehearse in my parents' basement, which wasn't really cool very many hours of the day, to I rehearsed at this really just a hole that was out by the airport that I was renting for a while. It was like, yeah. See,
yeah, that's kind of
proper
scary.
Response. Yeah.
I mean, let's just connections to that.
If you can think of like, if you think about like a crack house in an episode of Starsky and Hutch where they're just stepping over stuff in the hallways, this was that place. So anyway, I was out there for a little while, and then Kip kept talking about building a place. And so Jen and I are like, we got to get him to build this place. We got to get him to build this place. And so he finally, he gets a building. He leases a warehouse in San Luis, and Jen and I are there the very first night with like pressure. We're pressure washing the floors. We're cleaning the whole place out, getting ready to start framing and stuff. So I have some footage of this.
Oh, nice.
Not that exactly. Well, I have footage of us building. I have stills of the early stuff, but this is us still building.
The studio. There you go.
Oh my God.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, look at those kids.
Yeah.
Look at those children.
And so, and we hung 20 tons of drywall. You see Kip standing on a big stack of drywall there.
God. Yeah. I had a
waistline. This is the main room, right? So
look at that guy.
The garage door that's open in the main room is now a wall that's all sealed up. This is the control room that Kip's sitting in right now. Yeah. And he's actually facing that wall. So as we turn around here, that window next to me is the window that's behind Kip right now. And we did this for Kip says a year and a half. It feels like it was 2 years, but
right. It feels like
I remember it being 18 months. Yeah.
And we remember that lift to get the drywall up into the ceiling?
Yeah. We, what was it? 328 sheets of 4-foot by 12-foot, half-inch thick drywall. 5 stacks about 5 feet tall that we lifted and carried into the building.
Yeah.
And so we placed them in places where we knew it would be, a smart place to put them because we would build the rooms around where the drywall was stacked.
That's the floor that you're sitting on right now?
Yes, sir.
The wood floor, yeah.
Minus the console.
Brand new,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. That's it.
And
people building dreams.
Yeah, and that right there is the view behind Kip right now. That monitor on the upper right is the one that's behind him on his right now. And it's
the
22.
604 8Gs.
This is 22, 23 years later, something like that. This is the ISO booths.
Yeah.
That's the vocal booth that John Anderson records in when he needs a place in San Luis Obispo right there.
Yep, there you go.
Which back then wasn't as pretty. There's the drum booth way back there.
Drum booth, yeah.
Which is the purple room on your on our left, your right.
Over my left shoulder. Yeah.
Do you have any of this footage, Kip?
Nope, I surely do not. But that's that's fun. You know what's interesting about this whole thing is, who took all these pictures? It was Jen. All the pictures that you see of the studio being built
was Jen playing my old drum
every single night along with the rest of us. She was the one. Yeah. She was also there taking all the pictures too.
This is when we first moved into the rehearsal space. So we built the rehearsal side first, so we'd have a place to work, and then we continued construction on the recording side. Yeah, that's these guitar stands there. And that's my original rig, which is the size of a refrigerator.
Yeah,
that's all gone now.
SO1 sampler.
So much smaller now. I don't see a milk crate in there anywhere.
Where's milk crate, Travis? Come on.
That was post milk crate. Milk crate was about 3 years before that or so, maybe 4.
Yeah, that was like building the studio was like a full-time job. We were here almost every night, 5 nights a week at least.
Yeah, you guys spent like 30 hours a week on that. I was there a little bit, but then, I was also rehabilitating and trying to keep a job and to have insurance.
And go to
you guys did all that.
Yeah, I got pictures of you up a ladder with a screw gun in your hand. Just. Zzz.
But Jen and I were there almost, we've talked about this. We were there an equal amount, if not more than you were even, because we would work when you were working. Kip would mix. Kip would have to go to work too.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
So like he would go mix at Slow Brew at night, and Jen and I would be there, from like dinner time till 2-3 in the morning every night.
That's
and then the next day, Jen would go to work, like at the video store.
Stuff.
And I worked part-time at the video store, but most days of the week I would go to the studio at like 10 a.m. I'd get up, I'd hit the Subway sandwiches, I'd go to the studio. And then I'd just be there for
tri-cut combo or whatever it was every single time.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'd just be there like 18 hours. So
what's a year and a half of your life worth? Right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So
it's worth the wonderful relationship we have with you after all of these years.
There you go.
So
we got to start.
Long, strange trip it's been.
Yes.
So the very first album, Kip, like when we moved into that place, first of all, we built all the furniture that the boards were on and everything.
That's right. Yep.
Actually, real quick, just because, so people know the story behind this, that board that's on the wall behind you that you use just for preamps. Tell us about that board for the audio geeks that are watching.
That board right there, I'll try to get a picture of it. That is what I use for preamps. It's 16 channels of Spectrasonics, mid-60s solid state electronics. It's not tube. It's one of a kind. It was hand-built by a guy named Jeff Cook, who was the systems engineer for the Grateful Dead for about 15 years. And he also worked for a company called Limbic, which was an amazing company. But it's got 16 Spectrasonic preamps, 16 two-band EQs per channel, and then Jensen transformers on the direct outs. So it's a really nice Class A, beautiful console. It's amazing. I love it a lot.
I have a Who's the Man for Kip.
Okay. Well, let me explain it to him. He probably knows.
Yeah, but just so you know, it's amazing what I don't know about the music business.
No,
names. I'm terrible with names.
This is really along the lines of what you're talking about right now.
So who's the man, for those that don't know? And Kip does know because he's watched a few of these, surprisingly. But what?
We played that in the van too on tour.
Oh, okay. So Who's the Man is something we play on tour, and it's basically who is the man, and you would compare people to like obvious comparisons would be David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar, those kinds of things. So Jen has a Who's the Man?
Midas or Neve?
Ooh.
Neve. That's a no-brainer.
I knew.
Well, it depends on what you're doing. Depends on what you're doing. If it's live, I would go Midas for sure. Some kind of Midas. I have a Midas. I own a Midas. But Neve for studio, it would be a Neve. I wouldn't even consider, a Midas. Well, maybe I would, depending on the right one. Some of those old analogs were pretty nice. But if you're gonna work at a studio, getting the Neve preamps is kind of a nice thing. Yeah.
So that's a perfect segue into. So we finished building the studio, Kip, and then it's time to start trying it out and recording. What was the gear we had sitting on the tables that we built ourselves? First of all, what was the very first board sitting in there?
That was a Mackie 32x8 analog console.
Right?
Yeah.
And what were we running
This is
into?
1999 or 98?
98. We released the first record in October 98, I think.
Yeah.
Or was it January 98, Jen?
It was October.
No, that I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that there was no automation for the listeners, so we would all listen to semi-final mixes and decide last tweaks. And then if I was listening to like reverb on drums or something, and I had comments, we'd all bring the comments to each other and agree on whether, we'd agree or disagree on it. And if everything, whatever your comments were, if everybody agreed with it, then you're responsible for your mix move. So you would start the mix, and then I would have my left hand on like snare reverb and right hand on like tom EQ, and then you just be figuring out your own thing. So it was like a game of Twister. Jen would have two hands in there, Trav would have two hands in there, and you had your notes you were looking at, and 6 or 8 hands on the board, and everybody's just going like this and looking at the playback timer and like
it was a whole other performance.
Yeah, it was.
That was probably fun to watch, I imagine.
It was a
choreograph. We put
choreograph.
these little strips of tape. Remember the little strips of tape with the little marks on them. So the fader would start off at a certain point, and there'd be a move to point on the fader with the little strip of tape right next to it with a mark on it. So so at that, when your cue came up, you go bloop, you put it up there, and then when the cue was done, you bloop, you brought the fader back down.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we were actually literally manually mixing our first record as a band.
And we used
8 sets of hands.
ADAT XT20s had just come out, and that was such a big deal.
I was so proud to have those. Yeah. Yeah. Those were fun. Yeah.
No,
they got dirty all the time though. So
didn't lock up.
Yeah. Fixing mistakes back then was a 2-person performance and relying on the machines. Like if I was fixing a drum thing, I would have to go try to play through the thing I was trying to punch into the performance, and Kip would have a performance of nailing the timing, and then the machines may or may not lock up, like Jen's referring to. So like 3 things had to go right. So sometimes you would decide. I think drums were harder than other stuff because of the cymbal transients, but anybody trying to fix a mistake was like, do you want to try to fix this? Because we may realize we can't fix it, and then you've destroyed that performance and you have to retrack the song. Like if you start chasing something and you work a day on it and can't fix those second and a half, then you're like,
about it.
It's over. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Well,
crazy stuff.
The other thing about it is that this was all VHS size cassettes that would get eaten by the machine if you ran back and forth too much.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
So
and then you had to keep the heads clean.
Yeah. The one total amazing part of, the way the universe worked in that is that Jen and I both worked at a video store. So we actually repaired VHS tapes professionally. That was our job.
Yeah. Yeah, the interpolation device wasn't always working, was it?
The what?
The what?
Hey, I was just going to say real quick to people watching too. So Kip, I'm looking at his long and illustrious career, and some of the names that Kip has worked with. I'm just going to point this out because he can't remember 99% of them, and doesn't know how, and he doesn't know who 75% of them are.
That's right.
But
I just work the trenches for 30 years. That'll do it to you.
But I'm just going to go in order from the top down. This is just a small list that I've been able to work up. Bob Hope, John Anderson.
That's right.
Green Day, No Doubt, Joe Bonamassa, Black Uhuru, Albert Collins, Average White Band, Bill Monroe, Lovin' Spoonful, Everlast.
Amazing.
Dr. John, Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros.
You got to say it first. Yeah.
Joe Satriani, our audience will know him. Animals as Leaders, obviously the Aristocrats. Us for Jeff Bridges. Neil Young. Lindsey Buckingham, Living Colour, John Mayall, Los Lobos, Public Enemy, Snoop Dogg.
Isn't it amazing?
Maybe the list who he hasn't worked for would be.
I know.
Right?
No, it's not.
Taj Mahal.
Well, it's amazing. Yeah.
Steel Pulse. I'm not done yet. Bella Fleck and the Fleck
Don't forget the Dirty Knobs.
The Dirty Knobs, Campbell. Of course. Yeah, that's of course Tom Petty, the Heartbreakers side project. English Beat, Dick Dale, and I'm going to say hundreds more.
Yeah,
hundreds more. I can't remember them all.
So for the listeners, I will say, obviously we're Kip's family and we're going to love him and we've worked with him, but there is an objective thing that Kip is a super badass and Kip can't toot his own horn. So we're left to do it. And you're just going to have to squirm, Kip. So,
we'll just do this.
When I first started touring just regionally in the States, I remember thinking, wow, I'm going to see some good sound, man. And I didn't. And there was nobody who was as good as Kip in my mind. And then, and just realistically, that was the case. And so then, and Kip was bound to the hometown. You were doing the responsible thing and raising a family. And then you went back out in 2015 with us in the Aristocrats. And it was really fun knowing you,
awesome.
knowing how humble you are, and seeing everybody in just about every venue go, Jesus Christ, I've never heard this place sound that good. There are reviews of the Aristocrats and TLB shows that say, lastly, to all the sound men in town, I want to say, get to the club tomorrow and take pictures of the settings because this place can sound good. Kip Stork made it that way. Like,
well, you get lucky.
Hilarious. It was great. Yeah, right. That's how you always are. But Kip is one of the baddest guys out there, and will never come across that way. So just to make sure everybody knows, he's the real guy. Sorry. We'll go back.
Thank you, Dale.
That was gross. Sorry.
Good God.
So Steve is saying we want Avalon shirts, Kip. I was going to ask you, Jen, is that one of the ones with just the logo, or do you have it on backwards? Or?
No,
it's a girl one. I don't think
just gave that to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a girl one.
That's a misprint, right? Yeah.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, it was Chad, my buddy Chad Land. You guys know Chad, and but he was doing printing.
Chad
for a
bought
while.
the Death Star, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Number 9. Anyways, so he was working with my silk screen, and he just made one by a ladies that that's a small one. And I thought, well, gosh, what am I going to do with this? And he handed it to me a couple months ago, and I said, well, I know just the person to give that to. So
that's why
it's
I was
one of a kind.
Because I was putting my shirt on.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Werner says, do you have any stories about the dude? So I have a couple stories about Kip. That one of them I mentioned
he's saying
last time.
The dude.
Jeff Bridges.
Oh, sorry.
The dude. Yeah, come on.
Okay,
now.
I'll back off. Okay.
Do you have any? Well, we'll get to that. But Kip, do you have any stories about Jeff Bridges?
No, but okay, yeah. When he came to Slover downstairs, he actually brought a director's chair to sit in on the dance floor while the band was setting up on stage. And a friend of mine, another audio guy that happens to be local, had thrown his back out, and he was working for Jeff, and Jeff gave him one of those arched, back massages. You can find the spot by yourself, and push the ball into the middle of your back. That was, there's a little Jeff Bridges story for you.
Did he show up in a robe?
And he sounds just like he always does, He's Jeff Bridges.
I'm the dude, man. I'm the dude.
Potato in the mouth.
Yeah.
That's Travis saying is he always talks like he has a potato in his mouth.
He always talks like he's got like a hot potato in his mouth.
Yeah, sure enough. Just watched Iron Man the other day again.
So, but go ahead, Dale. You've got some stories about this dude right here. That's the dude.
So I was telling people last week, Kip, that one of my fondest memories was having a plate of food that I left on the stage like a dumbass while I was playing. And instead of coming up and moving it, you put a shorty mic stand and mic'd it and ran a cable. And when I came off stage, there was a plate of spaghetti with a mic on it and a cable. And I said, that was the funniest thing, dude. You mic'd my spaghetti, and you go, yeah, but I ran a cable too. And
yeah, you don't want it just a prop. You got to make the prop look right.
Yeah. So Kip is also a great roommate to the likes of me, because like on our last
tour,
tour,
a great roommate.
Oh no, you. So
no.
We were going to shake things up a little bit just to sort of like have different people. You have to spend all this time in the van, and we would change things up in the rooming situations. But it turned out that Kip and I both like Arctic temperatures, and
yes.
And I'm kind of subtle about it because I don't want to freeze everybody out, and I know I'm weird, but you're weirder than me.
You can get it.
So when Kip enters a hotel room, it's sort of tactical. He's like, "Okay, you got the air conditioner, or I got it. Okay, because okay, you got it. Okay, how low will it go? How low will it go?" And usually it's about 68, but sometimes it would go lower than that, and I would just be staring at it, going, "Oh," and you could get it down to like 45. It didn't, and it would just be, and I would. And I always am antsy after shows, and I would leave the room and go, am I going to bug you if I come back in at 2:30 after running upstairs and stuff? And you're like, no, you're fine. And, but so, and then sometimes I would be off in the corner doing push-ups or something, and you would ignore me. You were just totally wrapped up in whatever you were looking at on your iPad. And then without looking at me, you would just go, if I was doing something like offset push-ups or had one leg in the air, you would be like, I'm not giving you style points for that.
Well, because I felt bad for not working out with you because you're
No.
healthy and
I'm
athletic, and I'm just an old fat white dude. It's like can't do nothing.
No. So,
but yeah. So I appreciate that, Dale. Thank you very much. The great thing about you, if I can add this, is that you don't mind just a mild amount of snoring.
Not at all. Doesn't matter. It makes me more comfortable because I know I'm not keeping the person up with my weird fidgeting. But
there you go.
So yeah,
Symbiotic.
and then every once in a while, you would look over and go, "It's really cold in here," and I was like, "Is it too cold?" And you're like, "No."
No.
The one time
we found your limit one night.
One night, you're right. Yes, that was one of my stories, and I'm always just too hot in hotel rooms because I'm a weirdo and other people have to be comfortable. But one night I was just too cold with you, and I had all the covers on, and I just like, oh man, my back's tightening up, like the muscles are getting cramped and stuff, and I'm just like, I think I'm too cold. And it was just the funniest thing to me. And I wasn't going to try to figure out the air conditioning at 4 a.m, but it was hilarious.
No. I just snored right through it. It was great.
I might tell a quick story, and then we have a question that we have to get to regarding John Anderson, working with him. But first of all, here's a road story about Kip. We were up in Canada the first time, and Jen and I are kicking it in our room, and everybody's exhausted.
This is a great story.
So I think Jen was completely
I don't even know what it is.
I don't either.
So Jen's out cold, and I need to practice because what happens on the road, we've talked about this before, is you get worse as you start, because the only thing you do is play on stage every night. That's all you have time for. The rest of the time you're driving and not sleeping and loading gear.
You're not
right. So what happened was, I started to screw something up, and it would get worse every night, and I didn't have a time to fix it. So this was my night to fix it. We were in Canada. We had one night off. And so I'm trying to be quiet. I'm trying not to make any noise in my room, and I'm trying not to make any noise for your room because everybody crashed out. But I go and I bang on the door, and it's 7:30 at night. 7:30, right? And we had gone for pizza earlier, and these guys took back 2 huge pizzas, right? And so it's 7:30, and I'm knocking on the door. I'm kind of like, anybody there? Is anybody there? And then I'm like, ding, ding, ding. And finally, Kip cracks the door, and literally, breath comes out the door. It's so cold in there, number one. It just goes, and it's stone dark in there. But the rest of the world, it's summertime, and the sun is still out. All the windows in the hallways of the hotel are lit. Hey, it's like broad daylight.
You do what you got to do.
And he opens up the door, and I'm like, dude, I need to get my guitar. I need to practice. He's like, oh, okay, I'll grab it for you. And he comes back, and he hands me his guitar, and he goes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to sleep for about 4 hours, and then I'm going to get up about midnight, and I'm going to eat that pizza, and then I'm going to go back to sleep, and then I'm going to get up tomorrow, and I'm going to eat the other pizza. And then he shuts the door on me.
Hey, you know what? It happened too.
Yes.
And then the next day, he's like, Trav, you remember how last night I said I was going to go to bed for 4 hours and I was going to get up and I was going to eat that pizza? And he goes through the whole story again. He goes, it's exactly what I did. And it was magnificent.
I've got witnesses.
Kip will go weeks at a time and be real moderate. He'll have 1 beer a night because he's working, and he's not going to be crazy and overeat or anything. And then every once in a while, he'll just pull that, and you can't stop him. It's great.
It was a day off.
Yes.
That was in Woodstock, New York, I think. Wasn't that? And the boy was there.
I thought that was in Ottawa.
Oh.
No, it was before we were. No, it was before we were exiting Vancouver.
Oh,
okay.
We were sleeping overnight. We had a night sleeping before we left Vancouver, before we left Canada.
Vancouver?
Since we're saying this is unrelated to anybody, but it reminds me of a funny story, and what the heck. But it must have been the night before then in Ottawa, where, remember, we had a day off, and everybody was going, I'm going to do laundry, I'm going to do this. But it was some kind of weird holiday, and yet it wasn't a holiday. It was a cultural holiday, but not a national holiday. So we could not figure it out. We're like, is this a holiday? People would be like, no. And yet nothing was open because it was some kind of weird unofficial holiday. But anyway, I was set to get my hair cut because it had been 6 weeks and my hair was twice as crazy as this. And then, so I got up and it was raining, and I walked through the rain to some place that I had on my GPS that was a styling or salon, whatever. And so, but nothing was open. And I sort of looked in the window to see if there was different hours. And a guy was sitting across the room just doing bills or something, like just at a desk. And he looks up and sees me, and I'm about to leave, and I didn't want to bug him. And he sees me and walks up to the door, and I'm like, I'm sorry. And he didn't speak English. He was an Asian man, and he didn't speak English, and it wasn't French. I don't know. So anyway, he finally opens the door, and I go, sorry to bother you. And he goes, come on. But he was just gesturing. He wasn't saying English words. And so he's just a dark place with one light on across the room and some hair cutting chairs. And I go, no, I don't want to bother you. I'm sorry. And he finally, he basically just bullied me into like, come on, get over there. And I sat in this chair, and I didn't have any way of explaining what I wanted, but I have a passport picture in my phone. So I showed him that, and he just did a fantastic job. And I paid him, and he shoved me out the door, and he went back to doing his bills.
I don't know if I ever heard the passport picture story.
Yeah, that was the only way I could explain what I was trying to get done. And he did a good job. It was too short, but it was my fault because I was like, we got another month. I'm going to have to go shorter. But
I think Devin and I went there like the next day or something.
Yeah, I explained the whole thing. And I told you guys, I couldn't speak English to him, but he did a great job. I just told him to cut it too short. And I think you guys went. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. He just was so aggressive about going, get in here, dumbass, and sit down and shut up. And he cut my hair, kicked me out.
Yep.
One of the running jokes with Kip that, because he doesn't know who any musicians are. The other running joke is that it took him about 10 years to remember Jennifer's last name.
That's another one. Miss Young.
He'd be like, Jennifer. What's your bass player's last name again?
Yeah, what's her again? Yeah, exactly.
So
a couple of years, like 40 hours a week.
Somebody asked, what was it like working? What's that, Jen?
Nothing.
What did you say?
I said I'm not rememberable.
Oh
no, hardly no. Come on now. That's
somebody asked what's it like to work with John Anderson. Big fan here. I'll intro it by saying the first time he came to the studio, we were rehearsing, and he came in our room eventually and said hello, and he goes, "I understand you're a fusion band." And then he looked at all our massive gear and massive pedal boards and stuff for a band that plays, for like 30 people a night.
Yep.
Okay. But anyway, any John Anderson stories?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, so that was 2001, something like that. And John calls me through a mutual friend and asks if he can book the studio for a weekend with Bela Fleck from the Flecktones. And so I arranged it with Bela and John to come record at my studio, which they did. And John, John didn't use the vocal booth. He used the drum booth behind me. And it was very interesting watching them work. The two of them were, they're brilliant, right? So you're just watching them work. And John has the microphone in front of him, and he's just swinging all over the place, and his arms are out like this, and he's got the flowy robes going, and I'm just, oh my God, just hopefully the preamp is set correctly, and I hit record at the right time, and it was fun because what ended up happening is John and I worked a bit together before Bela came in, and John had laid down all this stuff, and it ended up not being quite right for what Bela was after. This is on the album called Outbound. They got Victor's holding on to the it's the subway car with all the pictures, and so Victor's like got his body straight out, and he can actually do that. But so we came in and we recut everything and changed it all, and then so Bela started asking for different things on the melodic lines he was given to John. And so he goes, all right, John, so throw a fifth on top of that. And John would throw a fifth. And it was great. Third. And then, okay, watch this. I want to have a sixth on that. And Bela turns to me and says, check it out. It's going to sound like a train coming around the corner when he throws the sixth on it. And sure enough, he was able to hit the note. And it sounded like a train coming around the corner. It was.
Did he
pretty
even
cool.
need a reference when he was when that stuff was explained? Wow.
No. So yeah, right. So Bella knew what he wanted. He wanted to try all these different things. Sometimes it'd be a third, just all these different strange things. But I remember the sixth being something specific he was after. He wanted to see what it's going to sound like.
But he could call that stuff to John, and John knew what he was talking about.
And John knew, yes.
That's so rare
John
for a singer.
Okay, great.
Agreed.
Right. Exactly. So, it was fun. It was a good weekend.
That's amazing.
And that album won a Grammy. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So before we go, we're getting close here, guys, but do we have anyone have individual Kip stories they want to share that they haven't shared, that they can share?
Make it straight if it is anything.
They're sort of endless, there's so many. So where do you start with Kip?
It's been a lifetime, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's cool.
There's like a whole nother life with you now because you were having kids right when we started building the studio. I literally, I mean, your son was an infant
when
we were building that studio.
That's right.
So
the son was born while we were building the studio.
Yeah. Right. So, we grew up with your family, or they grew up with us. And, the thing is, now they've all grown, and all of a sudden you were able to start touring, which was fantastic because all of a sudden we got a whole new Kip. We actually
that
weren't
has
just
been really
working.
a blast for me.
Yeah. We actually get to ride in the van with you.
Yeah, right. I know, because we would joke about it for years, and I'd say, "No, I got to stick around," and I had a steady gig at the Slow Brew, which is this nightclub that is big enough to support touring bus type bands, and so that was a steady house gig, hence all the names that would go through there, and then the studio just kept me busy too. It was just like nonstop studio stuff for many, many, many years. And so when the place called the Slow Brew shut down, that's when I started touring. So I was able to go out with you that summer before it shut down, and then this is last summer too.
And you did Europe with the Aristocrats.
Yeah, a couple of tours with the Aristocrats in Europe. That was amazing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's
like a whole new. I've got a console now for when I tour, and it's a Snake and stands and cables and power boxes and power and all sorts of stuff. It's kind of like I'm set up.
Hopefully we all get to use it again someday.
Yeah,
I know, someday.
How has the studio been affected heavily by the current situation?
Yeah. So I've been kind of nervous even doing a session at my studio. But I have an air exchange system here that has I disconnected the return side, so it's just a supply side of fresh air from outside, and it just comes into my side of the studio and goes straight down my hall out the restroom window, and it's 1,200 cubic feet per minute, which is really nice. You can actually feel a slight amount of breeze coming across you, so it's a fresh air supply that does not stand in a room. And so I've kind of opened it up a little bit. So I've been doing sessions lately with 4 or 5 people.
Okay.
A full rhythm.
Do you think that's where the band Air Supply got its name?
Come on.
From their studio.
Hang
on to that.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Hang on to that bell because you're going to want it when we play out.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So let me mention that if Kip's somewhat easier to find now, he does have an Avalon Studio Facebook page you can find. If you look up Avalon Studios, it'll look like Jen's shirt there.
Yeah.
You can also find him through us. He's literally part of the family. We see Kip more than anybody outside of the family. In fact, Kip and I have been, working on yard work.
Gens and all sorts of stuff. It's great. We're putting the band back together.
Kip is a real man. Kip is like a real man.
We're going to cut down trees and
power tools and contracting abilities. All that stuff.
You want to be able to count to 10 after every day, though. So
yeah. That's true.
Exactly.
So, and I will mention that TLB again. All our support links are in the description for this feed right here to support TLB World. Please feel free to if it's within your means, because everybody is essentially unemployed until we can get back out and do things again. Also, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, I'm going to be doing a multicam HD and high fidelity stereo sound live performance from here at the Treehouse Studios. Yep. And that's going to be on Facebook Live and YouTube. And you can find the event in the Travis Larson Band Facebook page events. And you can also go find the YouTube link. It's already out there, but I'll be posting it again this week as it gets closer. So hope you guys are all doing well. I'm just checking to see if we missed anything.
Everyone wants to know if you're going to do more shirts, Kip.
Yeah, I do.
I will. I promise. I actually have my silk screen now.
What?
Which is nice. That's the first time. Yes. I actually physically have it in my garage.
Sounds like you have an actual plan.
I think there's a plan, you know.
Our whole life consists of answering questions about whether you're going to have more Avalanche shirts.
I know. Everywhere we go. Where do I get one of those?
Oh, my God. I know. I need to get those. I'm a terrible businessman, but a reasonable engineer.
As good as you are as an engineer, the converse is true.
You know.
Never mind.
Super quick story about Devin, who eventually, hopefully, will get on here. And
oh my God!
One night they had to share. Now, Devin, we call him the boy because he looks eternally young. Do you want to tell?
Can you even rush the story?
He's like, no, you can talk about this. This is okay. It's about a couple of grown men. You know, it's okay. So you got to understand who the boy is. The boy is all of 5'2". His name is Devin. He's a great guy. I didn't really know him.
He looks like Anthony Michael Hall in Vacation. That's why we call him the boy, because he eternally looks youthful.
Right, and he's a good sport about it. He's not offended. He's really cool that he doesn't.
No, that's his nickname.
Although you go to into the South and you start yelling, "Hey, boy!" across the room, and you really feel like it's not cool. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew that at some point we were going to have to share a bed because Devin and I and Dale would all share the same room. You know, in a hotel, and then Trav and Jen would have their room, and so
Kip
inevitably there was going to be. I'm a big guy, and I'm afraid that I snore just a little bit, and so I knew at some point we were going to have to share a bed, and so we had to figure out the politics and you know how we were going to work this out as a group, you know, between Devin and Dale and I, and so we made some ground rules in the beginning of touring, you know, for that 8-week run, and one of them was you always had to have a t-shirt and underwear minimum on in the hotel room, no matter anything else. You had to have that.
Yep.
Right? Come out of the shower. It's starting.
Yeah. Those t-shirt and underwear.
Am I running? Is that get off the stage?
No.
It's okay. No, that's just
so.
We've gone longer.
That's Travis getting ready to blast, but. So
that was just t-shirt and underwear. That's all that was.
The boy and I were like trying to figure out how we're going to do this. So I said, you know, how about you go to sleep on the top of the sheet, and I'll go to sleep underneath the sheet, and I'll try not to snore, you know. And the whole night I rolled over on my side. I was facing away from him, and he's facing away from me, and you know, I was just nervous as all hell, and just didn't want to snore. That's the last thing I wanted to do is keep him awake all night. But
that's the last thing you wanted to
do. I wanted to sleep. You know, I wanted him to be able to sleep. But we woke up in the morning, and I woke up, and I was literally like this far from his face when his face was pointing at me.
Yeah,
and
right.
I was breathing out, he was breathing in,
and
as he was breathing out, I was breathing in. And we're that far away from each other, and my eyes are open. Then he woke up. and I said, I just woken up a few seconds before him. And our faces are this far apart from each other. And I said, I'm so happy right now. And he got out of that bed. I was like, we're okay. Everything's good. We're all good. Nothing going on here. That's my story.
Yeah. Yep.
Hilarious. That guy is an awesome guy.
And then you kept apologizing, and Devin kept just going, "No, it's cool.
Terrible.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's cool, man. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
Just a couple of fellas. We're just a couple of
look on
fellas.
his face. I'm sure the look on my face was, "What the hell is going on here?"
Oh man.
Oh man, it's just terrible. Yeah.
All right, Kip.
Great story though.
Well,
yeah.
Hang out. We'll shut down, but hang out for a minute after. Thanks everybody for listening tonight. We had a great time hanging out with our boy Kip. He is our favorite.
Thank you guys. You're awesome.
Thank
We'll do this again sometime.
We'll try and get more TLB family on here.
When's the next album coming out, guys?
We're gonna start working on it soon.
Yeah.
You ready?
Get ready.
Are you ready?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Bring it on.
All right. We shall.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. I'll see you Wednesday at 7:00 Pacific here and on YouTube doing a live stream concert, and going to be lots of cool camera angles and great sound, and
man, I can't
that's
wait.
what's happening. And then we'll see you next Saturday with whatever happens then.
Maybe we'll have Kip back then.
Right.
All right.
Play that cowbell, Kip. I'll play. You play today. I'll play to you.